Episode 73 of the Two Thicc Pod, your home for all things sports, cards, and levity. I am Jeremy, joined, as always, by Manny.
What's up, everyone? And I'm sorry for Jeremy. I know you probably got scared when you first heard that intro. But today we have an exciting guest, our buddy, our friend, Breakin Wax. What's up? How are you?
What's going on, guys? See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, how'd you do that intro? I need help.
We got you.
When we got that Fanatics money, we went buck wild with it. We're like, we have to have the dopest intro in the game, and we did.
Fanatics money. Did you guys get a deal with Fanatics? Did I miss that?
Yeah, 1.2 over 2 years. Not bad.
Nice. Yeah. Not bad at all.
It's close to our Roman Swipes deal. Blue pill.
Did you guys see the Michael Rubin? Michael Rubin. So I guess he used to own the Sixers. And he owns Fanatics, or he's the CEO. But did you see his statement or that video floating around the internet about what they're doing for the hobby?
Yep.
Was that with the Nelk Boys when he was on that Nelk Boys?
Yeah, the Full Send podcast. Yeah.
Full Send. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. Also, God, a couple of things about that thing. It bothered me. First of all, like they are not the creators of the Full Send. They're out of their minds. Like, anyone that's done anything that's like action sports relatable is like, that's just a thing. They didn't come up. Anyways, but the Michael Rubin thing I thought was good last week, right? So it was like he said all these great things, but then this week I've been looking at the numbers for like Topps. So Series 1, so that's Topps flagship paper, came out this week with this year's rookies, and the print run is insane.
Brutal.
So to me, it's like he said all those nice things last week, and then now it's still just a money grab. I don't get it.
Here's what you do. You don't listen to what they say. You watch what they do.
Yep.
Just watch what they do. And Manny, I had to come with the energy because it's 4:00 in the morning where Breakin Wax is. He got up early. He's got 7 cans of Monster. He's got 3 things of branch chain amino acids, and he's gracing us with his presence. So you have to be high energy to help him get going.
Yeah.
It's a little later, but I like my drinks. I do like my drinks. How's the workouts going?
Spectacular. I'm feeling strong, man. We've been a lot of heavy lifting. The diet's clean, and I absolutely love it. So being able to work from home and make my own schedules helped a lot.
See his jawline? Look at that thing. It's
that's what I'm saying. Like, looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably down like 30 pounds. I want to pull 600 again. I'm probably right around 5. I got up to like 585. I was tinkering on 600. I missed it one time, and then I took some time off, and then I got into some bad habits of, drinking beer on a Friday when I should probably be lifting. And as you get older, just if you're not laser focused, it can get out of control pretty quick.
Yeah, it's been the one good thing about being here is I've been doing 2-a-days every day. I don't think I've missed a single one. I usually lift and then do cardio for an hour, and then I'll do like another session of cardio for another hour, and then usually at night I'll like hit the sauna. There's like a sauna steam room. Like it's not a bad deal where I'm at, and the gym is downstairs for me, so I have no complaints. But then my wife's also coming next month, so like I have no excuse. You know what I mean? Just being by myself. But it's been rough because I had that knee replacement, so like I had to like learn how to walk again. And I'm a big guy like you are, so like I put on the weight like that, and then as I'm getting older, it doesn't come off like that anymore. But I was telling Brandon, he was unimpressed. But the other day I had 275 on, and I was like, let me see how many times I could do it. And I did it 12 times, so I was like, oh, I feel pretty good, not bad.
That's really
there you go. That is spectacular.
Yeah.
Wait, bro,
Manny, what kind of weight are you lifting?
375. No big deal. No. Hey, I actually just started working out this week, and I feel dead. I can't walk up the stairs. Can't bend over to grab my daughters because my daughter she's 30 pounds, but she feels 80 right now. I'm getting into it, getting back into it. I can't have Jeremy get slimmed down and then me be the chunky guy on the podcast. So I was like, I got to slim down too. We're too thick. We're in this together.
Wait, so is this your first time working out ever in your life?
No, I used to work out. I also had a ACL tear. I was playing travel softball about 4 years ago, and I went to catch. I was playing left, went to catch and turn, and my knee just gave out. But then I stopped working out since. So it's been a while.
So you had a career-ending injury playing old man softball.
Pretty much. Yep. Never got hurt in high school. I was like, never hurt. And then I go play, against like 50-year-olds in travel league and get hurt.
I'll tell you, what's the lift of choice for you?
I usually do like Monday's International Chest Day for everybody. So I do chest, and then I'll do back, then I'll do shoulders. This is like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then Thursday, I usually do the gun show. And then Fridays, I like to do like one body part and then just do a heavy lift of each body part. And then the weekend, I just kind of do whatever I'm in the mood for. But a lot of times it's like push-ups. And then I swim. There's a pool here too, so I swim. Trying to get back into swimming just because I can't even run yet still because of my knee. So like when I do the cardio, it's either elliptical or I do the treadmill on like 13 or 14 incline at like 3 to 4 speed, but I do it for an hour, so it's pretty rough. And I'm a big guy like you are. Brandon actually said you're bigger than me, which is interesting. So I really can't wait to meet you.
You're 6'5" though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not 6'5". I'm like 6'4". Somebody wants to be particular. I'm probably like 6'3.5", but I was probably like 285, 290 when I saw Brandon. Probably like 260-ish right now, and then I'll continue.
Oh, wow.
Like the weight comes off really quick as long as I'm disciplined with the diet. And beer just kills me. Beer just absolutely destroys me. So
isn't Brandon like 5'2" though? So he's looking up. He can't tell the difference. He's like, there's two skyscrapers there. I can't tell which one's taller.
We're probably the same height if it came down to it, I bet. So.
He pulled up in his Porsche. Yeah, exactly. You got the extra inch. He pulled up in this fucking Porsche. I looked at it and like, I swear I thought to myself, I'm like, am I going to fit in this fucking thing? I'm like, this is going to be awkward. Like, hey, man, you came to pick me up, but I'll just drive separate.
Yeah. My Uber's here. Thank you. But for me, like my knee was so bad, I probably could not have gotten into it. Like even in my truck, I'd have to like lift myself and like swing my leg in. I couldn't bend my knee. It was so bad, but it is what it is. It's good now.
Swimming helps.
Yeah.
Swimming helps.
Yeah.
So that's what they told me with my ACL. They're like, get in a pool and swim. So that's what I did, and it actually helped.
That was like when I had my shoulder surgeries. The thing, you started exercise the very next day after. It would just be like let your arm dangle and do like circle motion. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it was after the total, like within a couple hours, they're like, you got to get up and walk around. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not getting up and walking around. And they're like, you have to. You're like, you have to. Like they make you go up and down stairs, like all kinds of stuff to even leave the hospital. But yeah, it's weird. Most people are like 80 when they get the surgery. I just turned 40 and I had it. So,
Manny, let me tell you how much of a badass this guy is. Fake knee. He's still doing 275 for 12. He's walking for 47 hours on end. He's over there. He is in a different continent, different time zone. I'm in Michigan, and yet still at Burbank, we were able to get a deal done. That's pretty fucking impressive, if I don't say so myself.
Dude, let me apologize. Like, I felt like the conversation or the text, I don't know if they got weird, but like all I was trying to say was like, if I could give you the card for free, I would. You know what I mean? But like, my wife obviously does not like that. So, I don't know. It's so tough when I consider people friends. Like, I don't want to charge them or overcharge them, or like I just want you to be happy. Like my number one goal is I want you to be happy, and that's it. So that's what makes it tough. Through like text messages.
So for anybody that know, he had posted a story sale and mentioned that some of these cards are going to be in Burbank. We sent Courtney out with the Fanatics money out to Burbank and give us a show recap, and he posted this beautiful card. I'm like, oh, I want that, and he's like, okay, cool, come by and pick it up. All right, cool. Hey man, what you want? Hey, what do you want to pay? No. Whatever you want. What do you want to pay? Hey, man, I don't care. Whatever price you tell me, I'm going to pay. Hey, whatever money you send me, I'm going to be perfectly good with it. I'm like, look, man. Look, I don't want you thinking I'm being a piece of shit and taking advantage of the friendship.
No,
Whatever you
no, not
charge
at all.
me is good. And so we spent like 5 hours just going back and forth saying the same thing.
I think it was like 2 days, and I was okay with like just forgetting about it. Honestly, like I'm like, please stop asking me. Like the older I get, I've learned that I have like anxiety, and like you're giving me anxiety because I'm like, please just forget about it. Like I don't want to think about it. If I forget about it and you keep it, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like.
I was so anxious. I felt like a piece of shit. I'm like, well, I'm going to meet this guy at National. He's going to think I'm a piece of crap because I just asked for a card. And then I'm like, dude, can I just send you some money? Can I just send you like, I was thinking at one point, I'm just going to spend this. And if like he wants to send me some back or if he wants to keep it, whatever, at least I don't feel bad. And so it was funny because there was this awkward thing where we were just trying to get the deal done. And we finally got it done. I hope everybody's happy. I mean, I feel like I probably overpaid by 50%, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, geez. Now I got to see if Drew will send you some stuff. So thanks for that.
No, whatever deal. If it could have been the best deal, Jeremy would make you feel like crap. Once you said that you had anxiety, his eyes were like target. Like I'm going to get him. So that's how Jeremy is.
I always let the kids win the deal, man. So I got to make sure he wins the deal. You know what I mean? So you can pay for that bougie place that he's staying at, that bougie club, the whole shebang.
I'm not paying for it. You guys are actually.
Yeah, that's true. No, we went out to go eat one. The first time we met, we were like, let's set up a meeting about like Thicc, and he's like, I'm paying for it. You're not going to pay a dime. Blah blah blah. Right when we leave, it was Smoky Bones. Right when we leave, we're driving home. I get a tweet saying, this cheap ass wouldn't pay. I had to go and pay. I'm like, you said to pay. So everyone online was calling me cheap ass for a week because I wouldn't pay the dinner. So ever since then, I'm like, Jeremy, I'm trying to pay. And he's like, you're not going to. And then I'm going to make you feel bad about it.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, as long as I can remember, I always try to pay. But I don't announce it. Like, it wasn't announced. It was just like, I just handle it. And then the one time Manny tries to pay for something, my stuff costs like $3. And I'm like, oh, that's very big of you to pick up the $3 bill, you cheap ass.
He paid for one Red Bull and a Charleston chew and called it a day.
Exactly.
I felt bad. We were going to Qdoba after a show, and I didn't know he was doing like a diet, and he literally just grabbed meat, and that was it. So it was like $2. And before I knew what he was getting, I was like, he's not paying for my meal or his meal. I'm paying for it. So then they slide the meat and they're like $2. And Jeremy's like, you're a piece of shit. The one time you want to pay, it's $2. I can't win with Jeremy.
Is it what are you doing? Are you doing keto?
No, I'm very mindful about the carbs and when I consume them. That's all.
Nice.
And I'm as you know, I'm an absolutely picky eater. So I just rotate like the same 8 things throughout the week.
I got you. Yeah, I've been trying to keep the carbs like under 100, but yeah, but I don't eat breakfast, so I'm usually starving by lunch and dinner. But yeah,
I don't do breakfast either. I do a nitro and a black coffee, and that's probably don't eat until like 12, 1 o'clock.
Right. Man, I like paying like when we go out, you know, also.
So we'll go to nice places, and usually it's with other couples, and she'll be like, make sure you pay. And I'm just like, damn, maybe somebody else's like wife wants them to pay. You know what I mean? And it's only funny because one of my best friends, he's a movie director. He has like a film company. His wife's infectious disease doctor. And like, we'll go out to dinner and she's like, pay. And I'm like, looking at her, I'm like, we're the poor ones here. I don't know if you're aware of that. Like, but sure, I'll pay. No problem. And I don't care. Like I said, he's one of my best friends, but just those situations are always funny to me. I'm like, damn, okay.
What's the etiquette? Like, if you're going out as couples, is it like you go Dutch, or is it if you're the one that extended the invite, you're picking up the bill? I guess I've never, because I always try to pay. I don't know if there's an etiquette that goes to that.
I think what I've noticed is that when you first sit down, and they take your order. And if someone's like separate, then that's like a clear message, like we're going to take care of ours, you take care of yours type of thing, But if nothing's said, then it's just open for interpretation. And my wife interprets that as we're paying. So, so take note, I guess, if she comes to nationals. So
it makes me incredibly uncomfortable when I go out with Manny because like he gets all weird about like somebody picking up like an $8 check, and I'm like, what kind of people do you associate with that like lord $8 over your head? Like I grew up that if my group of friends, if we had $15, that was $15 for all of us, not just any one of us. So it was always like you look out for those around you. So it always makes me uncomfortable when I go out with adults who have money, who are like the separate check and all that shit. It's weird to me.
Yeah. I think like for me, I could go either way. Like I don't care. Like if you want to pay for your own stuff, cool. If I pay for it, cool. Like normally I try to pay. I think my wife has this thing where she doesn't like to owe anyone anything. So for her, like she would rather us eat the $1,000 dinner bill than like have to owe somebody. And then I guess maybe she just thinks about it for like next time, like they paid, like you got to pay. But I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I always feel uncomfortable when Jeremy's trying to pay for me. I grew up like he says they're bad friends, but I grew up on the poorer end. So it's like, you got yours, I got mine. Like we can't afford to get everyone's type deal. Yeah. So we all got to eat our own.
I grew up terribly poor. And you've got shitty friends. So you would like sit there and be like, I got a little, so I'm going to sit and eat in front of you and you're going to starve.
No, we all eat.
That makes you a fucking whack person, dude. That is absolutely whack.
Those are not ride or dies.
Yeah, those are terrible people, man. You're amongst good people now. It's okay to embrace being around goodness.
Kyle, if you're listening, don't listen to him. You're a good guy.
One of my earliest memories of that was like when I was a kid, we would surf all summer at the pier, Flagler Beach Pier is where I grew up. And he's still one of my best friends to this day. His name's Dan Worley. And he always had a job. Like we were like 13, 14. And he was like, hey, I'm washing dishes at so-and-so. So he always had money and none of us did. And Daniel it was like we all worked, because he'd take care of everybody. He'd always just be like, no, I got you guys. Because he worked and he didn't care. So so now when we go on trips, I try to take care of him when I can, But yeah, I agree. Like I'm more of a like we're all in this together type of thing. If I can help out, I help out. So
yeah, my money went more towards I would go out to eat, but most of my money went to like my mom to help her out. So it was like everyone knew. I guess now you make me feel like a piece of shit when growing up. I guess I should have been paying for everyone's meal.
No, it's just different. Like I was the same way. I dropped out of school to help pay bills at my house. It was just like if there was me and two friends and they didn't have money and I only had $10, well, guess what? We're gonna get the most food we can off of a dollar menu, and it might be 4 nuggets for you, 3 fries for me. We might do a little McDonald's draft or some shit on the food.
No, I think if you do what you can when you can, you know what I mean, and people appreciate it. So it doesn't have to be every time, but. But if every single time you got money and you're not helping out, then people notice that. So,
and Manny made it a thing. Like I've told him, you give me a reaction, I jump all over it. So what was just a kind gesture of like, hey man, no, I got you. Thanks for meeting up or accommodating my schedule. I'll pick up the bill. He acts like a fucking little weirdo every single time. So now it is a thing where he will never pay for anything again. And I will remind him that I'm going to claim him on his taxes and just belittle the shit out of him for the remainder of time.
I don't like to owe people as well, like your wife, but mine is like, let me get mine. I basically got where I'm at. You don't have to pay me. Like, I don't want anyone to owe, I don't want to owe anybody. Let me get what I want to get.
Right.
Then I won't feel bad. And that's how
the day that I I truly like, hey man, remember that time that you got me that coffee for $3 that I paid for your coffee? Remember that? If you don't pay me back, you're a piece of shit. The moment I ever do that, I put a pistol in my mouth.
It's more so of you saying on social media that I'm a cheap ass. That kind of stuff. When it's a joke, that it's a joke, but no one else knows a joke, and now everyone thinks I'm a piece of crap. That's what I want.
Now everybody knows it's a joke, so you don't have to worry about it.
Well,
no, with some I'm going to clip this very strategically, and it's going to make me just sound terrible.
Now he can't clip, so we're good.
Oh, I can. I just got to.
No. Well, I was excited about this interview because I'm excited about your life. I feel like you know every celebrity. I feel like weren't you a professional like surfer at one point? You have your own like 10 businesses. You're living the dream. And I was excited. So how do you know so many people?
Man, I'm a people person. Like, you know, it's like so cliche, but like in life, it really is who you know, not what you know. And like when you get those opportunities to meet someone or talk to them, you just do it. You know, say what's up. Everybody puts their pants on the same way, right? One leg at a time, or you jump in two feet first, whatever. But like for instance, even here at the hotel, there's a Philippine Basketball Association here. It's like the NBA, but it's the Philippines, and there's a team from China playing here in the PBA. Well, the season just ended, but so the team's staying here. So I see those guys all the time, and I love sports, so I started going to the games. And one day in the elevator, the head coach and the assistant coach were in the elevator, and I was like, "Hey, you know, it was a good game the other day. I really enjoy watching you guys play." And they're like, "Oh shit, you went to the game?" I'm like, "Yeah, I love basketball." You know, just small talk. And the coach was like, "Don't pay for any tickets. I got you."
Oh wow.
And I was like, no, you don't have to do that. You know what I mean? I love sports, and why would I not say hi to you guys in the elevator? I don't want to be awkward. You know what I mean? But so he's Brian Gurjan. So he was the Australian team's men's national coach. He's an American, played college ball, and then like moved to Australia to play professionally. But he coached Australia to the silver medal in the last Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a couple of professionals here. There's Miles Powell, which he played at I think Seton Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was drafted, and then he played with the Knicks and the Sixers, but he's here. And then my neighbor here is Andrew Nicholson. So he played he was like Orlando Magic first round pick. I'm a huge Orlando Magic fan. He's my neighbor. So it's super cool, but like, you just got to talk to people, you know what I mean? So like, but it was funny though, like the first game I went to that the coach gave me, there were floor seats behind the bench. And there's all these like people from China, because it's a Chinese team, and their PR person was like, I'm sorry, how do you have these tickets? And I'm like, oh, coach invited me. And they're like, oh, you know coach? And I'm like, not really, but he gave me tickets. So yeah, I guess. But yeah, it's just, I mean, it's really that simple, you know, like if you get, I mean, I wouldn't say like force your way into talking to people, but if the opportunity presents itself, like take advantage of the opportunity. You know what I mean? It's just, it's really is that simple. So
I thought when you were telling the basketball story, I think it was on one of your pods. I don't know if it was Brandon or Vadim or something, but you mentioned some guy who's known for sitting courtside and wears like nothing but green or something like that. I damn near drove off the road when you were like, because I'm trying to find this guy on Instagram so I could put a face to the name when you guys were describing it.
Yeah, he's gonna come on the podcast next week. His name's Neon Man, is Marcus. So at one of the games, he was sitting next to me, and like every 10 seconds, like people were like coming up taking pictures with him. So finally I was like, hey man, what's your fucking deal? Why is everyone taking photos with you? And he's like, I'm the Neon Man. I was like, I have no idea what the hell does that mean? So then he explained it. He explained it to me that like he goes to the US for business, and then he buys courtside seats, and he films his experiences on TikTok. And like, for whatever reason, you know, it blew up here in the Philippines. Like the news reports on it. We're at the PBA championship, and the news is like interviewing him at halftime about like being at the game. But he works out here at the hotel too, so I see him all the time. He's super, super cool, nice guy. But it's the same thing, like, you know, just like he's sitting there. I'm like, dude, what is your deal? Why are people taking photos with you? You know what I mean? And yeah. So,
do you remember the guy at the World Series that was popping up at every game that always wore the Marlin visor?
He still does. Yeah.
It's probably
it's like the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. No, the coach probably wanted you on the team. He was like, man, 6'5", we need to recruit this guy.
So it's funny because I think part of it too is like I love sports. I love basketball. I think in my 40s now, like my dream job would be to coach, you know. And I always tell my wife, like, after the military, I want to do the corporate thing for a while, and then I'll never retire. I was like, I would love to coach. So that's, you know, I was just talking to them about my basketball knowledge. And, you know, I even said to the coach, I was like, listen, not that you need me to tell you what to do. Obviously, like, you're a Olympic Olympic head coach for a national team. But like, this is just some of the things I see on the court. Like, am I wrong here? Like, am I just Monday morning quarterbacking that thing and I'm just some stupid fucking fan, like just telling you shit? Or like, am I accurate at all? And he was like, no, you're absolutely right. And so that was like good justification for me that like, maybe I do know a little bit about basketball. I'm not just talking out my ass as a fan on the couch. So
until next season when it starts and you can't get those courtside seats all of a sudden. Coach remembered. Remembered.
Yeah, that's true. I do have his personal number though, so I feel pretty good.
There you go. I don't see a lot of like basketball, like, because mostly it seems like you collect his baseball, and you do a great job of like prospecting. Do you get into the basketball world, or is that not your thing?
So over like COVID happened, right, and I started getting into cards before COVID, and I jump into things like head first. So I was collecting everything, like baseball, basketball, football, hockey, like any and everything, because I love it so much. But then it's not good investment advice, right? So like recently I've been saying like the quarterback thing makes no sense. Mahomes just won a second Super Bowl, and I don't know if his cards are worth more now with 2 Super Bowls or they're worth more during COVID. You know what I mean? The quarterback thing just doesn't make any sense to me. If you're going to invest in something, I wouldn't invest in quarterbacks. Same with basketball. Basketball is the same thing. It's so up and down. And the problem is now, like, the prices are so high. Like, even if these guys win, there's nowhere to go. And that's why, like, I think Luka's a phenomenal basketball player, but he hasn't won anything, and his prices are astronomical. Where could they possibly go from here? You know what I mean?
Well, you get the players like, what is it? Cam Thomas had 340 games, and now look at his prices, and people are going to get stuck, just like they got stuck with Bowl. They're going to get stuck with Cam Thomas cards, and then we're going to see people leave the hobby that way. And you're right on that.
And you got to think too, like those people that bought those cards, like they're buying in the middle of the highest of hype. I mean, the kid scored 40 points in 3 straight games. Unless you're like a Cam Thomas or a Nets fan, like what business do you have buying those cards? Like, it's a horrible investment. I don't get it, but people do it, you know, and that's what this hobby is built on, a lot of hype. Even with the baseball prospecting, it's tough too, because the prices were so high even last year, and then now they've adjusted and they've come down. But the other day I was looking at a Wilman Diaz gold Bowman first, which was like $1,000 card, or maybe even $2,000 card last year. It ended raw on bids for $76 on eBay.
Jeez. Wow.
So it's like, you know what I mean? So like, what do you do? So that's why for me, I just buy the stuff I like now. So if like an Orlando Magic card comes up that I want to keep, then I'll buy it. But I still think that the box prices for cards are still too high to even rip boxes of cards. I think if you're going to buy anything, buy singles. You could still buy single raw stuff because of the price disparity, and then grade it, and then maybe make some money down the line that way. But I might be in the minority here, but I think the hobby's in a rough spot. Like, I really do. Especially like you hear all these things about people wanting to do great things and make it grow. I don't know how much more it can grow. And I've been saying it for like the last year now, is the hobby doesn't learn from its mistakes, obviously, because we went from like junk wax, right, to now it's junk wax, junk slabs, and there just happen to be some parallels in there now, or numbered cards. But what are you going to do? So
well, your guy, for example, Trevor Lawrence, how many 1-of-1s does that guy have? He has to have
I think it's a couple hundred, right? I think it's a couple hundred. So and even like I don't own any Trevor Lawrence, and I'm a Jags fan. I bought a couple RPAs, I graded them, and I sold them before the season started. I think the people that bought from me, they're probably good on those right now. But if the way the hobby keeps going, I would be afraid to invest any serious money in like bigger cards, right? Unless you're ready to just lose them, right? Like, God, look at all the people that invested in Zach Wilson, the Mills from Texas. Justin Fields did way better than I thought he was going to do, right? So you might be all right there, but Who else? Who was another quarterback?
Trey Lance. A lot of people spent money on him.
That's to be determined, right? The Trey Lance. Even if you bought Purdy, you got burned already. Like,
yeah. And
you can't account for injuries, but
I don't understand the hype of him because he was doing good, but their contract was with Trey Lance, regardless of how good Brock Purdy. They're going to go back to Trey Lance, so it didn't make sense to me, like at all.
Yeah, I mean they're locked in for the money. I mean, there's lately teams have been okay with like losing, right? Like, and not caring about the money, which is odd. But yeah, you're right. But like, I mean, it was the Niners; they're loaded.
Yeah.
Who, like any NFL quarterback, I think would have been all right in that offense, right? So, but yeah, I mean, people get mad, like, because I said, if you buy Purdy, you're stupid. I meant like as an investment, right? If you're a 49ers fan and you're buying Brock Purdy, then more power to you. Like, that's your guy, that's cool. But like, his prices jumped so quick, I didn't see anywhere to go with him. And then now he got hurt, and he might not even play next year. So now it's like a Gardner Minshew situation, right? And there's still people holding on to Gardner Minshew too. So
yeah, he needs to go start with the Jets. I feel like Gardner Minshew will be a good starting quarterback somewhere.
Yeah, I think what the Jets are looking at, they're hoping for Aaron Rodgers, right? Derek Carr's out there, and that's, I don't know. I like baseball. I think the price is right for baseball if you want to get, if you're looking at investment purposes. The other markets are just so all over the place for me. I'm staying away from it personally. But yeah, even like what's like, it's so weird because like I think I've said it before. Like, I grew up a Raiders fan because of Bo Jackson, but like the Raiders, like, what are you doing? Like, Derek Carr was fine. Sometimes what you have is your best option, and then instead of starting over and setting your franchise back 10 years like they just did, I don't know who they're going to get that's going to be better than Derek Carr in the foreseeable future. And he's not the best quarterback, but geez, I'd take him over half the league. You know what I mean? So like, what do you do?
Isn't the thought process they're going to make a serious run at Rodgers?
That's what people are saying too.
That's what they're saying. Yeah, Rodgers too, but like for what, one season and then be set back for 10 or 12?
So I agree. Go ahead. Sorry, Manny.
No, I was just saying you're in the same division as Mahomes, Herbert, and Russell with now Sean Payton, which Sean Payton doesn't tolerate anything. If Russell Wilson doesn't follow his like quota, he's out. He's going to get someone else.
I think Sean Payton took that job purely for financial purposes. Like, they have no first round picks.
No,
the team's pretty close to being in shambles. I don't know why you take that job if you're Sean Payton, other than for financial reasons.
I just read an article that had the Bears getting Jerry Jeudy because they are lacking so much draft capital. The Bears need a wide receiver, and whether or not it's real, the article like made a compelling argument why, the Bears could easily get that done because they are loaded with draft capital.
That would be sweet.
Yeah. I don't know what the Bears are going to do. The draft is one of those things where every year it's you get this hype built for these quarterbacks, like whether they deserve it or not, the hype builds, and then somebody emerges as the number one pick that probably isn't going to be a quarterback. So I'm interested to see. I know you are, but I'm interested to see what the Bears do. I feel like they need to like trade that pick away, but how do you trade away a number one pick and what's justifiable for getting what you get back?
Well, there's been a couple of mock drafts that have them trading back twice because there's the defensive end and defensive tackle that they really, really love. So, as a Bears fan, you just hope that some of these quarterbacks just wow out at the combine, throw 70 yards from their knee, a la Jamarcus Russell, and where these teams that need a quarterback fall in love and are willing to give everything to get him.
I'll tell you one right now is Florida's quarterback, Anthony Richardson. He is a workout monster. He can throw it 70 yards, no problem with the flick of the wrist. He'll probably run the fastest 40 time of any quarterback. If he chooses to participate in the combine, he's going to blow it out of the water. He is not ready. Like, he's a 1 or 2 year project on someone's bench. And if he would have stayed at Florida one more year, he probably would have been the number one pick next year. But somebody's going to be real stupid and move up in the top 10 to take him. So I don't think Chicago will have a problem trading back, but we'll see. You just never know. Like, that was like last year. I wish the Jags would have took Hutchinson over Walker, but they went with the potential instead of the surefire thing. And like, I mean, Walker was okay. He's still learning how to play the position, but we'll see. I think Hutchinson was a guaranteed, and obviously he was rookie of the year. So
It's funny you say that because that's like essentially what the hobby is. Like there's a proven way that you can operate where you can be profitable, you can protect yourself, but everybody gets excited, and not everybody, but a lot of people chase the potential, which results in them being left with cards they can't sell or move or just being completely upside down.
well, and like after the Super Bowl, I made a post. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be the hottest quarterback going into the offseason, into next season, right? As far as like card purchasing, besides Trevor Lawrence, I think the thing with those two guys is people were very up and down on them. They both played great. I mean, and Trevor Lawrence, people were like, they wrote him off last year's rookie year. So not that many people were investing in him. And I caught a lot of flack for that because people were like messaging me and they're like, oh, how could you say Trevor Lawrence when these other guys are not? The other guys are there. Like what someone said, like Herbert, and they're just saying these other guys are better quarterbacks. I was like, they might be better quarterbacks, but they haven't won anything. And winning is not easy in the NFL. And I've said this a few times. Like Matthew Stafford last year was his first time winning a playoff game. He just so happened to win the Super Bowl too, but it didn't do anything for his market.
No.
So you got to have the hype and the winning. So, and I guess if you have the script, then you're good to go.
Go ahead, Manny.
I was like, I like that you say kind of buy what you like, because you got me on. I don't know, Jeremy. I don't know if you've listened to that episode, but he was talking about Heritage Red Ink autos. Yep. And now all I've been searching is Red Ink autos. There was a Trey Turner that sold, and it was his rookie year. I think it was out of 70. It was random number, like 71. 71.
I think it's 71. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to ask you what the numbering was, but it sold for like it was either 600 to 800 for a PSA 10. And I'm like, Trey Turner is amazing to get a Red Ink auto PSA 10. That's cheap, I thought.
That's my favorite. If you're going to buy like a baseball auto besides a Bowman First, like people like the rookie chromes, but I like that heritage, that old school look. And then, the Red Ink are numbered, they're hand numbered, by the guys. So I like those a lot. They just get really expensive. But yeah, it depends on the guy. I think last year I bought a blue Wander from Brandon for like $1,000. Of course, it was like the first one that was graded PSA 10. And then he had a red, and I want to say he sold the red for like $5,000, which was still, I think, cheap, but Wander was hurt last year too. So, so the prices vary. But if you're going to go after, the blues are awesome. But yeah, if you can afford it, I would definitely go for some red. So,
what's the difference
between the blue and the red? The blue aren't numbered.
Oh,
so
okay.
They're like base. Yeah.
And what's the number? Like, why is it randomly 71? Was there a reason?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Get Michael Rubin on. Maybe he knows.
Exactly, because I have no idea. Because I see some that I know a guy that is trying to get the Nolan Arenados, and they're out of 10. So I was like,
right.
What is this? Because it's Red Ink as well. So
I was really
confused as why that's Red Ink. Okay.
It's so funny, like with these different hobbies and collectibles, someone's gonna see this clip and see the fact that I don't know or that we don't know, and they're gonna talk so much shit about us not knowing the entire history of heritage cards and the numbering, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to learn.
I'll own the L, man. I'll own it. But that red definitely pops, and I always like cards that are hand numbered like that. There's just something about it that makes it incredibly appealing to me personally.
What how the Bulls doing? I haven't been keeping track.
They're on a 5-game losing streak. They chose not to do anything at the trade deadline. They keep preaching continuity, but I'm a big believer that this team's been together going on their second season. They've kind of shown you who they are. But you know what I mean? I think that the plan this offseason is going to be to move. I think DeMar is gone. I think they re-signed Vooch, and then they try to pick up, a true point guard. Right. Is Lonzo playing, or is he still out? No, I think they're going to officially shut him down for the season at the All-Star break. That's the big rumor in Chicago. Are they going to release him or like shut him down, send him home, or no? Just like shut him down, like just officially say he's going to be out for the season, and right. They were a top one team for a majority more than half the season last year when he was playing. He did a real good
Right.
job facilitating the offense, 3-and-D, and it's just I think they have like 7 or 8 games this year where they've been up by like almost 20 points and they've blown a lead. And so they
Really?
show these glimpses of like just beautiful basketball, and then they face a little adversity, and then it turns into like 1-on-5 basketball where they come down and it's like DeMar just holds the ball for 20 seconds and chucks up a shit shot. Next time down, it's Zach's turn. Next time down, it's Vooch's turn. And so it's frustrating because we got the young kids on the bench. It's like, well, if we're gonna lose, at least let's lose and develop these guys, and let's see
Right.
if they're truly a player. And then you take it a step further. Like, I'm a huge Patrick Williams fan, and it's like he just turned 21, so it's his 3rd season. He missed all of last season with a broken wrist, and it's weird because he's the 4th option coming down. So like I think at times he struggles to find his offense because he's playing with
Right.
the big 3, and it's like I'm not, they're a frustrating team. They're a maddening team to watch.
How do you feel about them possibly signing Russell Westbrook if he gets bought out by Utah?
I like it. I like it because the team is like, this is a group of guys and it's kumbaya all the time. I think they need somebody in there that's a true leader to put a boot in somebody's ass and say, this isn't acceptable. Like, step your game up, be better. And that's
Right.
something that routinely you don't see. And I would love to have somebody who has a chip on their shoulder. And I think Russ coming to Chicago, a little bit similar with the explosiveness as a guard, kind of reminds you of Derrick Rose. But I think just the way he conducts himself, I think he would be fully embraced in Chicago.
Yeah. Russ is I think he's a phenomenal basketball player as well. Like his jumper seems to have gotten worse. I don't know the stats on that. It seems like it's gotten worse over the years where he just takes bad shots. But the guy averaged a triple-double for 2 seasons. I guess we'll see. But you guys are kind of in a similar situation the Magic were in, where we had like these vet guys that we were playing with the young guys. And then finally they're just like, screw it. We're getting rid of all the vets. We're going to let the young guys play. And I've been really happy with the Magic's progress this year. And Bonchero has made me a believer. I was like fully against us drafting him and taking him with the number 1 pick because I didn't think he was very athletic. I thought like with the number 1 pick, in the NBA anyways, you always take the upside. And I thought he was going to be a career like 10-10 role player. And I was like, what are we doing? We can't take that with the number 1 pick. But he's been surprisingly really good.
When he learns to knock down to 3, he's going to be a scary player because he gets to the foul line. That team is a blast to watch. They just kicked the shit out of the Bulls the other night. Yep. And it was like, part of me was also happy to see Markelle Fultz playing so well.
Yep.
Because I know he's been through hell and back and he looked explosive. And it's like, oh, here's Cole Anthony coming off the bench. Here's Jalen Suggs coming off the bench. There's 14 Wagners on that team. You can't even keep up. But they're like, when they're clicking, they are a fast up and down the court, fun team to watch play basketball.
And we're so long. Everybody's besides Markelle, everybody's over 6'9". It's crazy. And I think Franz was like the sleeper of the draft. That he is a phenomenal basketball player. And he's not even the 1 or the 2 option. You know what I mean? So the Orlando Magic so far, like in a long time, they're kind of doing it right, I feel like, but we'll see. There's still a lot of season left to screw up.
Did you want Chet instead? Is that what you wanted as your 1st-round pick, was Chet Holmgren?
No, I was against Chet. I actually wanted Jabari Smith.
Okay.
Just looking at the tape and the things that he could do, I thought Jabari Smith, if you're going to take someone with potential, that you would take Jabari Smith. And plus the Magic have we haven't done that great drafting. Besides the last 2 years, it's been pretty bad. But they nailed it with Paolo. So I was like, I knew the first game. I think they played Chicago actually in the summer league, but maybe it wasn't. But he had like a game-saving block, like out of nowhere, and I was like, oh man, this guy's actually a lot more athletic than I thought he was going to be. So
yeah, he can hoop. I think he surprised a lot of people. I think a lot of people thought he was going to be a project, and he looks really smooth with it.
Yeah, it was. It's funny. I was talking to a guy last night in the recovery room at the gyms. There's like a sauna, steam room, then there's like a jacuzzi. So I was in there, and one of the guys from the team, his name's Scotty Ewing. He's from Seattle, and I was talking to him about it because I was like, "Yeah, I'm surprised about Banchero," and he was like, "Nobody in Seattle was." He was like, "That dude's been killing people since he was in high school."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he plays in the pro-am leagues. You know, like Jamal Crawford has like a summer league there, and he was saying that like since he was in high school, he's been murdering people. So people in Seattle knew like what was coming, but I was like, yeah, I had no idea. So.
Oh yeah, he's so good. I'm big into college basketball. That's my favorite thing is college sports. So I'm a big Michigan State guy, and we got whooped by Duke in the tournament last year, and it was all Banchero. He like took over the second half. The guy couldn't miss, and I was like, dude, this is going to be the stud of the next year's draft. And I also like Chet. Chet's been a big recruit since high school. I watched him play in high school, and man, that guy can do everything. At that, you got Victor. What is it, Wamba Yama coming next year?
I don't know how to say it. Yeah, I'm just weary when they start labeling guys unicorns. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you know, like Christos Porzingis, unicorn. Like there's all these guys unicorn, but like they still like the problem with the NBA, the NFL with these guys that are like everyone is big and fast, right? So you have to be able to separate yourself and. We'll see, like with Chet, you know, that's the thing is like he's on the slimmer side. But I mean, Bulls seem to figure it out. It took 3 seasons for him to figure it out, but he's figuring it out. But you just never know with those guys, and it's such a different level when you become a professional athlete, and everybody is a freaking monster, and they're just as big and fast as you are. So that was like Blake Bortles when he was with the Jags. I remember talking to him. I'm like, damn, why don't you run more? Like you seem to be like at one point, I think he led the league for the quarterbacks as far as running goes. And he was like, I don't want to fucking run. He's like, when I'm running for my life. And I was like, oh, and he was like, everyone is ginormous and they all want to kill me. He's like, I do not want to run. And he's a huge dude, you know,
right.
But not compared to like linebackers and stuff. So yeah. So
is where you're at now is basketball king? And
yeah,
what else is
in the Philippines, basketball is the #1 sport. There's always people playing there's a full court basketball court at the gym here at where I'm staying. There's people always playing. It's funny because I think it was the college championship. I like went to every bar, restaurant in this area asking about football, and they were like, what soccer team's playing? They said football, like as in football, not freaking American football. And I'm like, no, college football. And they're just like, what the hell is college football? And I was like, oh, yeah. So yeah, I've had to VPN and watch things on my phone.
Well, there you go.
Is there? I sent you something. Looks like there's like some sort of like special hobby shop opening.
Yep.
Somewhere over there. Is there a hobby scene that you've seen over there, or how are you staying connected hobby wise other than social media?
So the hobby scene here is like everything's imported, so it's super expensive. So the Neon Man actually, he buys and sells. He's a flipper. He buys and sells like high end cards, and he introduced me to this guy Eric. Actually, this guy Eric, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago on. He said he does a lot of breaks like through Whatnot. He actually pulled a freaking Luca Logo Man auto.
Jeez.
On Whatnot, and then I was like, do you have the card shipped here? He was like, no, someone bought it. He said he thinks Shine bought it, but someone bought it from him for 6 figures that same night. But yeah, so like they were actually asking me if I could get people to ship them cards here from the US, and I was like, oh, it's that bad? And they're like, yeah, because everything gets sent here, and then people charge double and triple because you can't get it here. So there's no distribution here. So
Ooh.
Well, there's your billionaire idea right there. Start a distribution system.
There's a lot of Pokemon here. Well, that would be $1 billion idea, except for Fanatics owns the distribution, and they're cutting everybody off. So that's a no.
You're right.
Maybe someone will see this, and then they'll come here and do it.
Yeah.
Jeez, man, that's terrible. I feel we take stuff like that for granted. And we were interviewing the guys down at Double Coverage, and they're down in Australia, and they were talking about some of the hardships or some of the crap they have to deal with. And, you know, imagine not being able to go to PSA or BGS because your cards are gone for 2-3 years during normal times. Like they've got these like weird grading companies that pop up that are just kind of accepted because this is all we have. So this is what we're going to use. And puts into perspective when you hear stuff like that, because I can drive to 3 or 4 hobby shops within an hour and get whatever the hell I want to get my hands on tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it depends on the country too. You know what I mean? Like, I think China must be getting something, or those guys are just obsessed with ripping, because you see a lot of high end cards, especially like TCG stuff. It's like in China, you know what I mean? So, or Korea too. But maybe they're doing better than us economically. I have no idea. But yeah,
there's a guy I follow on Twitter. None of his stuff is in English, and it just like somebody retweeted it, but like every day he's posting pictures of cards that are 5, 6, and 7 figures, and that's like
right.
routine. And so like I looked at his media, and these are like clearly his cards, and it's like holy, like I mean he would be like comparable to like if you were to look at Shine's Instagram,
Right.
like
right.
who's rocking with that many cards, man? That's insane.
Yeah, I mean you just never know what someone has, I guess, right, or what their situation is. I'd be scared to death to have a 6-figure card as an investment, or a 5-figure card as an investment. I mean, even like things in a couple $1,000 range for me, my hands start to get hot. Like, and that's why I always say, like, I do want another Jordan rookie, but I just want it to be like a 1. So I'm not tempted to move it. I can just put it in my office and look at it and be happy about it. So
I like that.
Yeah.
You brought up, Jeremy's going to hate this segment because he doesn't do it, but you brought up TCG. Have you been buying TCG cards? And here,
hold on. Time out. Why did you say I hate it? I was the first one of us to buy TCG. I have graded more TCG.
You have graded because, yeah, you have graded more. No, you haven't. Actually, you haven't graded more TCG than me. He has no idea any of the characters.
Right.
The anime.
Son Goku.
we had Bro Namath on, and he was like, Bro Namath, you had a story sale. What was the most expensive card? And Bro Namath was like $800, and Jeremy's like, I'll buy it. I have no idea what it is, but I'll buy it.
Right.
But yeah, I've been actually having a lot more fun with TCG cards. I've been watching anime all the time now, thanks to Bro Namath. I just got shirts delivered today, and my wife made fun of me for them. Thanks, Brandon, for that. So I want to know your experience, because I know you're kind of newer into the anime scene. You watched Demon Slayer the same time I did.
So like my mother's Korean. My dad was in the Army. We went to Korea every chance my dad could go. So I grew up watching anime, but it was more like Astro Boy, the Dragon Ball stuff. I enjoy it, but like there's like a younger generation. Like my middle son's 19, and I was like, hey, Demon Slayer's awesome. He's like, yeah, I told you that like 3 years ago. Oh, that's a nice one. And then and then I asked him, I'm like, what should I start watching, if I'm going to get back into it? And he sent me a list of like 30 or 40 different shows. And I was like, bro, I don't have time for that kind of commitment, but just tell me the ones I should start watching now, But yeah, I think the problem, and with the Ginger Fusion, when he was on my podcast, the thing we talked about was like, Pokemon's king, it's still king, but like the problem with Pokemon is they reprint stuff so often. Like if you're looking at it from an investment standpoint, it's hard because they just keep printing and there's no end to it. But the Dragon Ball stuff, I think, is going to start picking up immensely, especially because it's catching on more. They're coming out with numbered cards, and they're just beautiful cards. Like your odds of getting a black label are significantly higher because of Bandai's quality over Topps and Panini. And they're great cards. I have a ton of them sitting in my house in Florida that I got from Brandon. But and some of them he was like, yeah, move these, don't move these. But I'm not super into it like I am with like baseball and baseball prospects. But I do like it. You know what I mean? It's more enjoyable. It's a funner thing to rip. And it was actually super nice. The Ginger Fusion guy actually sent me a box of cards to rip.
Well,
Dragon Balls. Yeah, so it was nice, and I was very appreciative of that. And it was fun to sit here and rip them. So I don't know what they are.
You pull anything?
I think I pulled one secret. and it was actually in one of the booster boxes, not the hobby box. So.
Okay.
But like it's like I want to learn more about it, but like I only have so much capacity to keep learning new and different things. I think with the TCG stuff, I'm just happy enjoying it and not looking at it as so much as an investment, just something that's fun to do. You know what I mean? So
I like that.
We would be remiss if we didn't ask this question. What is, and we might have to cut this out, but what is your affiliation with the most high-level group of men taking over the hobby, the Alliance? I hear you dabbling with them. You've interviewed them. Are you officially part of the Alliance? Are you bodyguard? Are you the help? What is your affiliation with the Alliance?
So I don't. It's funny you say that because we have a group chat. I started a group chat of people that like I regard as friends. Number one, that are good people and that I consider friends. And then in that group chat, the number one rule is you can invite whoever you want into the group chat, as long as they're good people and that, you know, and that's pretty much it, is that they're good people. I don't care about your status, your Instagram followers, what you do. But it's just a good place for people to talk about cards, business, sports, you know, just that type of thing. So, and then all of a sudden it morphed into this Alliance thing. So I'm like, I started seeing that and I was like, I don't know what's going on, but it is what it is. But yeah, Brandon's in there, Vadim's in there. There's Lane from Layton Sports Cards, LJK Cards is in there. I don't know if you guys know Cedar Hollow, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
He's in there. I'm trying to think who else is in there. There's a lot of people in there. Drew collects. He's in there. He's the one that had my cards at Burbank. Yeah, there's no like criteria. I mean, Vadim and Brandon might have criteria since they're the president and the CEO. But like for me, I'm just interested as long as you're a good person. You know what I mean? And if you didn't get invited, doesn't mean you're not a good person. I just
when I started hearing that, I just ran with it. And so like I had texted them like outside of social media, like via phone, and I was like, Happy New Year's Alliance. And it was just, then we did the little like animated meme where it was like Vadim's head and Brandon's head. And it's like, do you want to form an alliance with me? And I swear I was like a child. I was like cracking up for like 15, 20 minutes, like at 1 o'clock in the morning, whenever Courtney made that. I'm like, this is good.
You know what I think it is? I think it's just, it's a good place where like, if I think someone's posting that's bullshit and I can be like, is this completely stupid or bullshit or ridiculous? Am I missing the mark here? It's a good checks and balances for me where people are very open and honest about things. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's all. It's like there's a lot of BS in the hobby and a lot of nonsense going on. So it's good to have checks and balances and be like, hey, did you see this? Is this absolutely ridiculous or not? Lamine James, I don't know how to pronounce it, but he's in there too. But yeah,
it's pretty much with the hobby. Yeah, you make money, but it's really based on like relationships, and the Alliance seems like it's like a big group of like friends, you know, just getting together, everyone enjoying the same thing. So it's cool that way.
Yeah, and I think I think the people in that group chat have other group chats that are into, you know what I mean? But for me, like, and I've always said this, I'm more interested in the relationships, and getting to know good people more so than people that are just worried about investment advice and like everything in life is not about making money. I think relationships, integrity is huge, right? And I'd rather associate with people like that than people full of bullshit. So, but that's me.
It's been nice the last few, like we just recorded with Vadim not too long ago, and we went like 90 minutes. We were just talking about sports and just bullshit, and it was like a refreshing conversation, not focused on the financial aspect. And it was just like, you know, I hold these people in high regard. I've done business with Vadim, I've done business with Brandon, and it's transitioned into friendship that I know if I'm in Tampa, I got somebody I can reach out to if I'm in New York. Vice versa. If any of y'all are ever in Michigan or we're at Chicago, when we link up, when I buy everybody dinner one night,
well done steaks.
You're damn right. Well done steaks. Well done, steaks. I'm taking a picture of my food to just let people know that this is for real. But it's been refreshing, and I've enjoyed the hobby, and my enjoyment has nothing to do with financial loss or financial gain, which
Right.
means I'm starting to do it the right way, I think.
Yeah, I think I think it's like it's not weird, but I think just our generation of growing up with like the internet, AOL, like ASL, like chat rooms and stuff. I think it's made it easier for us to form bonds and become friends with people over the internet than like our parents, or people like that. So like for me, for 20 years I've done interviewed people for work purposes, but I feel like I'm a good judgment of character just based off of even small talk. So like you guys, like I have no problem saying you guys are my friends, and we've never even met in real life. You know what I mean? And like Brandon and I laugh because it's like we've only hung out like 2 or 3 times, and he's like my best friend. It's just one of those things. But yeah, I'm one of those people. Like if you're in my circle, I do anything and everything I can to help out. And I don't expect that back, but I just feel like there's a mutual understanding. You know what I mean? So
I can't top that. That's mic drop material. So I'll just say ditto. And I know that we're friends because it was when we were young on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, you would go out and you would just party your balls off. And that's what we did. But this year, we just decided to get on Instagram and we chatted with Breaking Wax for 4 hours. Then Brandon, who may or may not have had a couple of adult beverages, hopped on. And then Manny was in the chat and we were bullshitting about LeBron, and we did an Instagram live for 13 hours that I'm sure if somebody would go through that, one of us would get fired at least.
I forgot about that actually.
Yeah, I know how to trigger Brandon now. You just bring up LeBron James and top 5 list, then he goes on a rant.
I think Brandon, like, it's morphed into like this LeBron or nothing thing. It wasn't like that before. Him and I were pretty much on the same page with the LeBron Jordan conversation. And then I think it's just morphed into this like LeBron or nothing for him now, which is fine. I mean, I was not arguing, but I commented on someone's post on Facebook because I was just like, look, at the end of the day, if you're talking about purely basketball, it's hard to make the argument that LeBron James is not the greatest basketball player of all time. I mean, he has the stats to back it up, the longevity. And for people to think that like Steph Curry is going to break the all-time scoring record or someone's going to do it within the next 10 years, I think is stupid. It's just staying healthy. And like, even like you look at a record like Cal Ripken breaking Lou Gehrig's record, right, for most consecutive games played. Like nowadays, even though people take care of themselves better, technology's better, medicine's better, nutrition, all that stuff is probably at its peak right now. No one's breaking those records. Like it's just not happening. So
yeah. Well, like for example, Cal Ripken, baseball, they take rest days like I would say like 4th day they'll take a rest day. So they're not gonna that record will never.
Well, I think Ripken had rest days, right? So I think that's built into it. But
is it okay?
Yeah. I think so, if I remember right. But yeah, it's just and the only reason I think his record stopped was because he chose to stop, or he chose to not play, for whatever the reason was. But yeah, the scoring thing, no one's breaking. I don't think anyone's breaking that in our lifetime. I'll put it to you like that.
You want to go down a rabbit hole, and I know we're up against it clockwise, but a rabbit hole of records that aren't going to be broken. Go look at the old baseball pitching records. Those will never be touched. Where guys would throw both games of a doubleheader. And like every game was a complete game, and now we got these pitchers making $150-200 million to go out and give me 5, go out and give me 6.
God, 70. I don't know if you guys saw that there's like a documentary about Nolan Ryan, and he was like almost 50 pitching 9 innings, and to him, like if you didn't pitch a complete game, it was a complete failure, a waste of an outing. So yeah, those days are long gone.
Awesome. So you're gonna be at National, correct?
That's the plan.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah, we need to get so Cubs actually play. I think the Reds. We should all
we're working on doing like a suite, or at least doing like the rooftops and getting tickets for like you know like 15, 20 of us for an afternoon to get away from that. So
yeah, my thing is like I want to come for a couple of days, bring the wife. I'll probably do. I've never been to Chicago, so I'll do the card show for one day, and that's like my limit. I can only sit around with a bunch of dudes looking at baseball cards. Like that's it. One day is good, and then I'm open to just seeing Chicago and seeing what the city has to offer with my wife. So,
well, that's awesome. We'll be out there for a couple days beforehand and a couple days beyond because Chicago is home. So I look forward to meeting you in person. Mm-hmm. Everybody can follow you at Breakin Wax, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. You're a legend, man. You are like we could get on. I'm sure somebody's like, yeah, I'm here for some hard hitting hobby content. And it's like, oh, these guys talked about cards for all of 4 seconds.
I just like having, like I don't know how people talk about just cards. And plus my ADD is real bad. It's not documented. So I'm kind of all over the place. Like you say something and it triggers something else. You know what I mean? But I appreciate you guys thinking of me and having me on. I'm very grateful for that. I enjoy coming on and talking to you guys.
I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Well, keep kicking ass over there in the Philippines, man. Get home safely, and we look forward to seeing your svelte 6'5", 212-pound self with 8-pack abs.
Dude, I haven't been 212 pounds since I was a freshman in high school. And I was like this thin, so that's never happening.
What's super lean for you? Like if you were like really leaned out, like comfortably, where you don't look like you're deathly ill.
Ooh, probably like 250, 245, 250. I think when I went to OCS, which was 10 years ago, I was like right at 245, like between 240 and 250. When you're a bigger person, that 10 pounds fluctuates pretty easily. So yeah.
I got to 240 and everybody's like, oh my God, are you unhealthy? And I'm like, I'm actually in incredible shape. I'm sorry about the cancer. I'm like, there is no cancer, man. It was like 6 months of eating clean and hitting the gym. What the hell?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, go gain 10 pounds. I was like, thanks.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, have a good workout, man. Be well, and we look forward to seeing you.
And
thanks, man. Have a good one.
And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed your hobby release, and we'll talk soon. Peace.